Hi, finally, we're doing it. Okay, hi everyone, people of the world from whatever continent or spot on the map that you found this video and click the link to listen to my story and all the stuff I'll be, yapping about. I'm excited that you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Lisa. We'll go with Lisa the Lens Girl because that's the name of this brand spanking new channel that's finally started today. And hey guys, Happy New Year! I'm sure you're probably wondering, so what's the cool story behind the name Lisa's Lens, or me introducing myself as Lisa the Lens Girl? And that's beside the obvious, of course. But I think for as long as I've known, I've always been fascinated by narratives, conversations, ideas, opinions, and the viewpoints through which we come at life, and how that shapes the things that our actions, our behaviors, our feelings, our reactions, our responses. So in thinking about it, I couldn't find anything more apt to define, what my focus or our focus would be on this channel. And so there you have it, Lisa's Lens. So welcome to Lisa's Lens. It's interesting that it's taking me almost 600 years later to finally do this. And one of the lessons I learned very strongly last year was that time makes no excuses for passing. It was such a reality check for me. Time actually doesn't make an excuse. 1 minute it's 9:04, the next is 9:17, and you are wondering, how did we get here? So you occurred to me, if time, I beg your pardon, isn't making excuses for passing, why am I making excuses for time? Why am I using time as an excuse? Why am I saying to myself, I'm so busy, or I have so much, I'm juggling, so much going on, or work is crazy this time of the year, I can handle it, or this, that. So many seemingly valid, but nonetheless excuses. And so this is me basically showing up, telling myself enough is enough of making excuses, waiting for things to be perfect before you do it, before you step out. Enough of waiting until you can make a big production of things. Just start small. Just start. Do it afraid. Don't wait till things are perfect. I don't have a ring light yet. I don't have the mics, those amazing, really beautiful gadgets that you see in the YouTube videos of the OGs. I don't have those yet. Someday that will come. But for now, with the tools and resources in my hands, what can I do? How can I tell my story? How can I start facilitating those conversations, those expressions that have always been fascinating and interesting to me? They've always been something I've always thought about. They've always talked at me. So why am I waiting? Really, what am I waiting for? If my life ends today, all the experiences or desires or expressions that I delayed the manifestation of, so to speak, there will not be any other opportunity for it. We use the cliche of it all the time, but even though it's a cliche, it's true that the graveyard is the place where you have the world's most wealth, and riches, because many things, talents were not expressed, many giftings, many abilities, and that's not how I want my life to be. So this is me showing up and doing afraid, and this is Lisa's Lens channel, where we will be intentional about showing up, doing it afraid, and contributing value in some way, shape, and form to this world. So once again, welcome and thank you for being a part of this journey. Bye. Let's shape them. So I'm going to be Lisa the Lens Girl, both figuratively and literally as well. And so this channel will basically be about exploring themes and perspectives around faith, because faith is a big defining part of my life. I'm a Christian, and I'm always excited to see life or draw meaning from life, from the very author of life, whom I believe God is. He created a world, he gave us existence, and what better place would the user of a product draw meaning from, if not from the manual, that the manufacturers put together, explaining the product and all of that. So yeah, faith is a big part of, my, I'd say, lens, when looking at life. And so we'll be exploring themes themes and perspectives around faith, around relationships, around adulting. Guys, I always say, I jokingly say it, but I also mean it, that I feel like, especially for us who are millennials, because I'm a millennial, I don't think the generation before us did such a great job of equipping us with the right tools to handle the transition from childhood to adulthood. And so there are so many lessons and minds and curves that and snowballs that we're coming across and just trying to navigate. So yeah, adulting is a big part of what we'll be talking about in this channel as well. And I also think lifestyle, culture, like I mentioned earlier. And so we'd like to explore the themes around this and the lenses that shape them. So on this channel, my goal is to learn by unpacking. My goal is to inspire you. My goal is to challenge your viewpoints in some cases, and when necessary, hand out graciously corrective lenses that would correct our collective eyesight as we learn together, as we just find out, what are some of the thoughts and ideas and just norms that we've gotten so used to expressing or believing, sometimes without even your thoughts. Oh, where did I start thinking about this from? How long have I felt this way? I had a conversation, as an aside, I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I was telling her that one of the things that I find as a surprise in life is that sometimes I would think that I believed about something. For example, I'll believe that I had the opinion that, for example, my orange mug, I don't like orange, for example. I believe strongly that I didn't like the color orange. But you see, I'd walk into a room and maybe there is a piece of, I was asked to choose between two colors for something that would complement maybe the decor or just an ornamental piece. And I would gravitate towards orange. So it meant that I hadn't fully explored the reason why there was, I had a resistance of feeling about orange. Maybe there was something, and it might just be a one-off, just something that, but somewhere in my head, I believed it. Oh, I didn't really care more for orange, right? But then I'll come to, there will be another context or another experience, and I'll find that, oh, I don't think it's orange in particular or as a whole that I have a problem with. Maybe it's just one piece of it. So you see, this continuous discovery, realization of life as we know it or perceive it is one journey that clearly is not stopping. And so I'm always excited to see how these things form. And I'm looking forward to building a community where we can connect, where we can learn together, and where we can grow, right? By learning, unlearning, and relearning. So grab your current pair of glasses and join me as I navigate the paths, curves, lessons, and parallels that life's throwing at me on my journey, and as I find meaning. I can't wait to get to meet those of you who would be learning and sharing with me as well on this journey, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes us on. Okay, I'd like to ask, as the OGs do it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay connected. Click the notification bell below, as they say, just so that you are connected and you're always aware when I drop a new video, and you are able to enjoy this journey with me. One quick before I go, I've been thinking about friendships, of recent, or I'd say in the last 2 days. When I look back at my 2024, it was a tough year for me, to be honest, and it felt like a blur. And for the most part, I felt I wasn't very present for my relationships with my friends. I felt like I didn't give it my all because I was basically fighting for my life, right? And so when I was doing a bit of some self-audit, October, November last year, I realized that it was important to me to find out how best I could support my friends, how best could I see them and ensure that they are they feel supported by me. How best could I invest in these relationships, right? I was listening to a clip by Trevor Noah a few days ago, a clip of his podcast, right? And he was talking about something that he and his friends had started to do intentionally, where they would hang out and somehow somewhere during the hangout they started singing a song about, are you ready? And the point of that was to get each person to talk about what they were struggling with, because he had realized that your friend could be beside you laughing. Your friend could post on their WhatsApp or IG story, some meme or some reel that's, very hilarious, but they are battling the worst depression of their lives. And when you would ask them, why didn't you tell me about this? They would say, oh, I didn't want to burden you. You see that statement, I don't want to burden you, or I didn't want to burden my friend. My goodness. I'm not innocent. I do it, I say it, but I realize that it is a lie of the devil. It is an arsenal of the devil to isolate, weaken relationships, and make you go through life alone. You see, it's not God's design for relationships it's not even God's design for life that you walk alone. What's that football, what's it called that says you never walk alone? One of the football clubs, right? These guys don't come at me. But my point really is, it started to dawn on me that, and it's not relationships. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. So you are investing just as you are withdrawing or cashing out, right? And I started to think. I even asked some of my friends, how can I serve you better? What's the one goal you're looking at achieving in the coming year? How can I be present for you? How can I support you in prayers? How can I support you with my presence? How can I support you with my resources? How can I be there for you? Right? And it's been interesting to hear from some people who have, responded to me. But I'm thinking about myself, thinking about how will I show up better in this new year? How will I ensure that I'm living intentionally, in my relationships? How will I ensure that I'm not allowing the circumstances I'm experiencing or life challenges to define the quality of life that I'm living? Right? And so that's a question for you today. I want to encourage you, think about it. How will you serve those who are important to you, the relationships that are close to you? And how will you be intentional about showing up yourself and doing the Frid this year? Look at me, I'm doing the Frid. I started my YouTube channel today. It's really an encouragement, right? Think about it. How can you serve your friends this year? How can you serve your family members this year? How can you serve your partners this year? For those of you in romantic relationships, single or married, how can you be present? How can you show up authentically this year? What would you do differently from the past year? How would you ensure that the people in your life don't feel isolated? Don't feel like they have to do it alone. Don't feel like they're, how would you constructively create support systems that will create safe environments for the people in your life to say, you know what, I'm not burdening Lisa when I go to meet Lisa to tell her about this. Lisa is not going to feel burdened. Lisa is even counting on me, to lean on her shoulders, right? So it's really, one way I want us to talk about it, part of this conversations around, I mentioned earlier about learning as we adult, or the lessons that adulting is teaching us, and how I talked about the fact that I feel like our parents or the generation before us didn't exactly give us the right tools or equip us with the right tools to navigate. One of the things I realized about friendships and adulting is, for example, case in point, my parents didn't really believe, and I'm saying this with all respect, with all due respect, no offense intended. Even though they say that when you say with all due respect, the next thing is coming after is going to be insulting. But in this case, it's not that, guys. I'm just trying to explain that I had two parents who didn't exactly believe in friendships as such. In fact, they sounded sort of like a bragging rights when my parents would tell me how, they grew up without having friends, and how that was sort of a contributory factor to their success academically or any other way. As though the only defining quality of friendships is either peer pressure or the temptation to make wrong choices. There is beauty in friendships. Bible talks about friendships. There's a scripture that says there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. So there is something definitely to be gained from friendships. There is benefit there. And in thinking about that, how that it created a picture for us somehow, about how much we could be open or vulnerable with our friendships and relationships. It's easy to see why many of us struggle the way we struggle. Many of us do not know how to actually maximize, I think that's the word, maximize our friendships and relationships. So it's something to learn, something to think about, something to ask yourself, why are my friendships the way they are? What would I consider as a meaningful friendship? What would be meaningful friendship to me? Right? And why do I think about it that way? Is it because of some trauma, some story my parents told me, something that happened in the past, or something I've heard about how friendships are, or some defense mechanism I've taken on as a coping mechanism because, oh, this is how friends would typically behave. So I'm going to arm myself, defend myself, so that I don't fall victim to this or that, right? But how can I, because to be fair, going about life jaded will only take you so far. I promise you, it will only take you so far. Trust is a currency that you need to trade with. Sometimes the transaction may feel as if you were shortchanged. It may not feel very profitable or fruitful, but it's still the currency is still yours. You have the right to take it back and go again for another transaction, right? So I don't want this video to be so long because I want you to take the time to think. I am deciding to be more intentional about my friendships. How can I support them? And how can I leverage the friendships? I have a friend who, when she listens to this video, if I don't talk about this part, she's going to come drag me in the behind. She says I don't know how to receive help. And to be fair, the other day my sister made us in comments. Maybe there's a pattern here. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. So, but it's something I want to be intentional about. How can I learn to not be the person who only gives in my friendship? Because that's another extreme of its own, right? Where you're the one who's always giving, but you are never receiving. It doesn't help. It doesn't help your friendship in any way, to be fair. So it's something to think about. And I'm excited to see how all of this pans out and the lessons that I'll be learning. Once again, thank you so much for clicking on this video and for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Till I see you or come again with another video. Keep going through life with the right